People should give up the idea of community changes, society changes, and all of these rainbows and butterflies that we just gonna achieve one day after all of the rainy clouds subside and then the sunshine. Because continuing to see behaviors online and in person, if you a person like I used to be, where when you grow, your first thing is how you can get other people to grow too, because you see the benefits and you also see the advantage that people took when you didn't grow. You just got to give it up, baby. People are gone. Like, especially with being on the internet this much, I'm always confused as to how no matter what you post online, you can post all of the details if it's a story. You can post the simplest question, but people, it's like people, this they version of adult videos by just being rude and anal to people that they don't even know. And it's just so crazy. It really is. But then these same people, when they get exposed in real life, you see that they broke, they a predator, they got charges, they can't they have failed relationships with people with horror stories about them. But anyways, I just had to get that off. Disclaimer: this video is not saying every person struggling financially, socially, spiritually, or emotionally is lazy, unintelligent, or morally broken. Poverty, trauma, disability, lack of opportunity, predatory systems, racism, classism, family dysfunction, poor education, addiction, and mental health all play real roles. This is about patterns. How can people be conditioned, distracted, monetized, manipulated, and trained to participate in their own destruction while calling it freedom? And not to mention, like I just mentioned, the people who they really be just being hateful for no reason, not even like hate or hateful, but just rude and hateful to people who ain't even did them nothing. Like, y'all doomed too. But this video is also talking about another form of captivity: mental captivity, financial captivity, cultural captivity, spiritual captivity, the kind where the cage does not even look like a cage. Sometimes it looks like a phone. Sometimes it looks like a payment plan. Sometimes it looks like a club section, a political identity, designer label, viral trend, freedom. Modern day slavery is no longer some distant idea or alternate future. It is here. In some ways, it has probably been here for a while. But as a 90s baby and as someone who has had to overcome things that should have folded me, I can see its fingerprints everywhere. I was able to watch people my age and younger come into this world with bright eyes and aspirations. Then life started molding them: family, neighborhood, schools, poverty, social media, trauma. They're part of society molded them. And slowly, a lot of them became another copy and paste figure. Same mindset, same arguments, same spending habits, same addictions, same excuses, insecurities, anger, desire to be seen. The old version of slavery needed chains around the wrist. The new version puts chains around the mind, around the attention span, the spending habits, the identity, the ego, the insecurity, the trauma, the loneliness. And the dangerous part is this: a lot of people do not even know they are captured. They think they're choosing, they think they're free. But if every thought you have was planted by an algorithm, every desire you chase was advertised to you, every argument you join was fed to you, every purchase you make is based on insecurity, and every dream you has borrowed is from someone else's highlight reel, then how are you free? Like, that's a rhetorical question, but you can answer it. Y'all like to answer stuff. The phone became the plantation of attention. First of all, pay attention and spend time. Those two words mean something. You pay attention, which is a cost, and you spend time, which is a cost. But these are things that, due to it being normalized in society for kids to not be properly brought up, which leads to adults that could be manipulated into doing whatever. See society, example one. It's common that people don't know these things. So when we don't know stuff, leave it alone. Just learn it. Just learn it and do better once it's introduced to you. Find a way to safely introduce it into your life. Like, regret is not your bill. Regret for things that you were not given is not your regret to have. especially if you are at a point in life to notice the impact it has, because there are people who make it to death 70, 80 years old that are stuck at as who they were at 15 when they had to quit school and help their mama raise 9 kids, or when they was 12 when they got pregnant early. Like, so regret is a waste of time, because if you're able to call out what you need to do, like many people do, like when I'm in public reading novels instead of using my phone when I'm waiting, which I do that because I actually like the novels I'm reading. But it's the other people who see me, oh, I ain't seen people reading in so long. Oh, I need to start back reading. First of all, get the fuck out of my face. Let me read my book. I didn't come to this bitch to make friends. Like, do you think I carry books so people could talk to me? No, I carry books so people don't talk to me. Keep looking at your cell phone and run into walls, ho. Anyways, the cell phone is one of the most powerful tools created. It can educate you, connect you, protect you, pay your bills, help you build a business, document injustice, open doors that used to be locked. But the same device can also drain your soul dry. The problem is not just that people have phones. The problem is that the phone has people. People wake up and reach for it before they even check in with themselves. They go to sleep with it in their hands. They eat with it, drive with it, parent with it, date with it, worship with it, grieve with it, argue through it. And y'all be in public telling all y'all business. The fact that I don't wear headphones and I be in public, I always hear y'all gossiping, dragging for people. Your girlfriend did this, your husband did that, your baby mama pussy stink, your baby daddy balls got green coming from it. Like, y'all are of, and with decades behind social media's influence and more than enough studies, lawsuits, warnings, and lived experiences to show the damage, the gig is up. Social media and excessive cell phone usage are destroying minds of all ages, not because every person who uses social media is doomed, not because technology is evil by itself, but because the human brain was not built to be plugged into chaos all day and then expected to produce peace, wisdom, focus, maturity, and purpose. The same platform that makes you feel connected can also make you feel empty. The same app that lets you express yourself can also make you compare yourself into depression. The same device that gives you access to knowledge can train you to avoid deep thinking. That is why I say the phone became the plantation of attention, because somebody is harvesting your focus. Somebody is monetizing your insecurity. Somebody is selling your boredom back to you in monthly payments. The brain adapts to whatever you repeatedly feed it. The brain is elastic, it adapts. That is a gift, but it is also a warning. If you repeatedly train your brain to focus, solve problems, read, work, build, create, exercise, reflect, and delay gratification, your brain starts adapting to discipline. But if you repeatedly train your brain to scroll, react, avoid, consume, gossip, rage, compare, and chase dopamine, your brain adapts to that too. Less becomes normal. If we are doing less and continue to do less, guess what happens in the brain? Less becomes the standard, less becomes the comfort zone, the expectation. That is why people who have never worked or people who have had an extended break from structure can struggle when it is time to return to work. Their brain and body have been operating around leisure, avoidance, and low demand. That does not mean they're worthless. It means repetition shaped them. The same thing happens with excessive phone use. People say they can't focus anymore. Also, those same people, all of them negative comments y'all leave, y'all become negative in real life. Like, I've seen it. I've seen it. It's people I know pre-social media, post-social media. All of them negative comments, because and I used to get on the people I know about being weird like that. And the shit carry over in real life because you're habitually having them thoughts in your head, regardless of where you releasing it. Yeah, it's just social media, but eventually it's gonna start happening in real life, and that's where we at right now. That's why, honestly, like, if people want help, find your resources and stuff. But I can't have sympathy no more, because it's too many of the people online and in real life causing trouble. But these same people, when everything is done, their money gone, all of the debt is piled up. That's the ones on the internet crying for sympathy and payola and shit. But in real life, nobody ain't holding them accountable for being rude and evil and small minded. Like, to be honest, a lot of people struggling have a lot of the similar personality traits. The ones online, they cannot sit through a movie, they cannot read a chapter, they cannot finish a task. That is not random. That is training. They cannot listen to someone without checking notifications, and the training is working. When you train your brain to need constant stimulation, silence starts feeling like punishment. Boredom starts feeling like danger. Reading starts feeling like labor. Responsibility starts feeling like oppression. And peace starts feeling unfamiliar. That is why the mind trap is so dangerous. It does not always break you overnight, and it slowly lowers your standard for what normal feels like. And not to mention, a lot of people are a part of generational grooming. Depending on what background you have, what part of the country you in, like in states like Louisiana is the way it is intentionally. That is why we have oil jails and tourism. Because if you have people who ain't making nothing out their life, they're going to work in tourism. They're going to go to jail. They're going to go, like they don't care about education out here because it makes the people easier to control. That is why you have more people in comment section giving political views than you have in the polls. You have more people in the comment section giving political views than you have at these town hall meetings. Most of these people don't even know that majority of the infrastructure, like bridges and all of that, is overdue to crash. Most people don't realize that the pipes in New Orleans is over 100 years old. The drainage system hasn't been serviced since the 1900s, early 1900s, and there's different bridges around this country that's due to fall at any time, but people not interested in that. They interested in all of this media stuff. They could tell you everything going on in the media, but if you talk about anything else, first of all, they're not going to listen. Second of all, if they do reply, it's going to be an assumption or a talking point they heard from someone else. So letting these same people buck y'all head up to make y'all feel like life is so hard and that it's shared misery. It's not like, and when it comes to people who want to share knowledge, you can't with small-minded people. I see that now. And the only way a person to prove me right is if a group of small-minded people actually made a change for themselves and stop talking about change. Because you could watch 1,000 hours or whatever, but if you ain't putting no action into it, your brain is never going to associate that with being your actual personality. And not to mention, it's all grown people, but these same grown people complain about shit they put themselves in. But when other people get hurt, the first thing they're doing is attacking the person who got hurt. You rarely see people say, "Oh, that's wrong. Nobody should go through that." It's always why they did this. Well, they should have did that. They should have chose better. Somebody with five kids and 5 baby daddies in the comment section saying people should have chose better. A nigga known for giving out that whatever, that gangster in the comments telling women that they low value. People with no side teeth telling people they look a mess. People who house smell like ass and they got roaches up here calling people dirty. Like it ain't even a pot calling the kettle nothing. Like it's really sick to me though, because I've never seen a person be negative online and actually have decent everything. They might look good, but they probably dirty and can't dress. They probably broke. They probably selling it. Like people really be online projecting they anger at themselves to y'all because they're ashamed of who they are online. And my thing is, what people don't realize about these comment section is the jig is up for that, because baby, they showing up to people's house now. Y'all done got so bucked up with saying whatever online, certain shit y'all talk about, them people coming to y'all house. I don't know if y'all watch that kind of content, but it's happening every day. They showing up to people's house. So be careful what y'all putting on this internet. And that's good for whoever happened. Y'all be feeling yourself too much. Loneliness became content, anger became engagement, trauma became a brand, ignorance became entertainment, addiction became live stream material, family dysfunction became a comment section event. People are watching other people spiral in real time. And instead of saying this person needs help, they say part 2. That is modern captivity, because when suffering becomes profitable, there will always be someone willing to sell their breakdown. There will always be someone willing to watch. That is why rage bait works. People know certain personalities are trying to anger them. Some of these people have admitted the playbook out loud, yet people still click, still comment, share, argue, still let their spirit get filleted for another person's paycheck. And while the viewer thinks they are just reacting, the platform is collecting data. What makes you mad? What makes you stay? What makes you comment? What makes you come back tomorrow? This is not just entertainment. This is behavioral mining. This is emotional extraction. This is attention capitalism with a ring light. And it is even funnier too How y'all let people make y'all buck y'all head up to turn on 48 Laws of Power? Oh, that book. Oh, that was the answers that be used in that book. No, you dumb fuck. The man is telling you what the people been doing to y'all for the last thousands of years. And it gets worse than that. That man, if they ever have a point where even small-minded people realize what's been going on, people are gonna lose their shit. But all I can tell y'all is that many people is windmilling for shit that they've been lied to. And it's already proven. It ain't even conspiracy no more. If people just read, and this is the thing about slavery, they said it. If you want to hide something from people, put it in the book. It's even worse now because there's so much stuff that y'all believing in as lies. It's actually scary. But y'all have fun. Let me find me a little mountainside or a cabin somewhere to get away from these hoes. And I don't even mind being in regular society, but I do find that I can't take the retardation of Louisiana, and I'm not even here. I died. That's why I'm here. I'm recovering. But after this is over with, I'm getting the fuck out of here. For real. Not even just out of here because it's bad. I don't want to be in no city that don't have participation from people, where people are not actually active in the community. If we see a pothole, we all deciding who gonna send the email and we all gonna sign it. Like all of that complaining and stuff, like in New Orleans, we have everything wrong with this city, but people gonna get drunk every weekend. Some people drink every day. People gonna shake that ass every day. People gonna be dressing down, even though they living in houses that ain't even fit for an inspection. But as long as they got the best clothes, because I've been dressing. They know I've been dressing and you've been broke. Anyways, now they build brands, they get followers, they sell courses, they rent luxury cars, they film in fake offices, they talk about financial freedom while teaching people how to become worse, not wiser. And why does it work? Because many people are emotionally damaged and intellectually underdeveloped. And not to mention, a lot of those pages with questionable behaviors, you have to, like, the reason all them people following, they play dumb when people get exposed. Them people follow them people because that's them in real life. So, anyways, that does not mean they're stupid. It means they're vulnerable. And stupid if they leave in negative comments. If you out here bothering people online, you stupid. If a person is desperate, lonely, broke, traumatized, and undereducated, the right lie can sound like a rescue plan. That is how pyramid schemes work. That is how fake gurus work. That is how clout-based scams work. That is how tap-in culture works. The scammer does not need to be brilliant. The scammer just needs somebody emotional. Pretty much anytime people have been scammed, they use your emotions. When you hear people who even had second thoughts, their intellect was tapping, like, this ain't right. But then that person grabbed them emotions because too many people have y'all emotions on the outside. Y'all gonna keep getting scammed. It's never gonna stop. They be acting like scamming is a ignorance thing. You could know and still get scammed if you're able to be manipulated. That is why psychology books will help a lot of people, because the people manipulating psychology. And y'all being so emotional people, you literally could see the whole chessboard on your forehead because y'all show everything. Something make you mad, something make you smile, ooh, something scare you, ooh. Like, y'all just dramatic as hell. And I don't know if it's because for me, I always had to be the proverbial strong person. So I never been like that. Like, I'll play sometimes, but people don't be knowing what the fuck I'm thinking or feeling. But I mean, and that scares people. Manipulators, I'm their worst enemy. They don't, once they see them hooks don't sink in, when they try all that flattery or joking and all of that shit, and I just be looking at them like, fuck you on. But they just need to understand pain better than the victim understands themselves. And social media gave scammers a storefront. Now deception has lighting, testimonials, rented cars, fake screenshots, and a discount code. The scam is no longer in the alley. The scam is on the explore page. Like, for instance, y'all post all y'all business all day. A scammer will see that these 5 people always talk about weight loss. They've been following you long enough to see every few years you didn't had a little weight loss journey that you ended up abruptly not talking about no more. What's the first thing they're going to try to sell you? Ozempic. Or if it's a person that's really a dirty scammer, they're going to sell you some underground surgery. Or in New Orleans, they had people doing braces on their porch. Like, the scammer became the celebrity. Wait, did I skip a slide while I'm ranting and raving? Social media term. I don't know. This shit happen all the time. Another part of the trap is how many people aspire to be musicians Athletes, influencers, actors, comedians, podcasters, or some form of entertainer because they believe fame means freedom. They think visibility means wealth. They think followers mean power. They think applause means ownership. They think being recognized means successful. But in many industries, the person society sees is not always the person making the most money. The face is the product. The machine behind the face is the business. In music, the artist may be on the stage, the one in the video, the one on the poster, the one getting screamed at by fans, but the money can be split between record labels, producers, credited songwriters, publishers, managers, agents, attorneys, public relations firms, distributors, tour promoters, stylists, photographers, videographers. That's a lot of shit. That's why they be giving them people a 1999 Jeep Cherokee and a can of Mountain Dew when it's time to pay them because they didn't pay the whole city. The person with the microphone may be famous, but the person who owns the masters, controls the publishing, manages the deal, or owns the company may be wealthy. That is why fame and wealth are not the same thing. A record deal can make an artist look rich before they are actually rich. An advance can look like income, but it may function more like debt that has to be recouped. And it's not a coincidence that when artists die, that their estate is worth more than when they were alive. Hence the reason why they be fighting to keep them people publishing so hard. Nevertheless, a tour can look glamorous while the costs eat up the money behind the scenes. A celebrity can look like a boss while being managed like inventory. And this does not only happen in music. Athletes can be the face of the team, but owners, leagues, sponsors, agents, executives, media companies, and brand partners can make enormous money around them. Actors can be the face of a movie, but studios, producers, distributors, agents, managers, attorneys, and streaming platforms can control the bigger financial machine. Not to mention, the average person, especially a content creator, do not realize that you're funding the whole operation because you, as the content creator, you get followers from whatever you post. Then at some point, for people who into that, they start doing sponsorships. Then you also get the sponsorships and YouTube ad revenue. So they giving you money, but they know majority of the people who have the rags to riches don't have financial literacy. And what are you going to do? You're going to end up spending that money on all kind of luxury stuff. Plot twist. Some of those brands pay ad revenue on YouTube. So the money is just circling up. It's not circling down. It's not coming down to your level and circling within your community. It's circling up within YouTube because you're going to influence other people to spend. That's money back to YouTube, and that's money to whoever they're spending. Shout out to Amazon. Y'all hate them, but y'all love them so much. And the money just keep coming back around, and it never stays in your pocket. And that's the whole trap. Not to mention, people who follow influencers build parasocial relationships to where it be like Jesus and the disciples. So there are people out there that buy stuff because they saw somebody, oh, my favorite content creator. Like it's a thing. That's just a human thing. But the danger in that is that y'all follow anybody because y'all bored. And it'll be one thing if a person have their own personal product they selling. That's more like a gift from them and their artistic skill to the people who follow them. But no, it be people selling anything. Like I seen a video with a woman, she was promoting shaving razors for men. And I'm like, influencers can look independent while being shaped by sponsors, algorithms, contracts, management companies, audience pressure, and the constant need to stay visible. This is why personas often do not match the message. The public sees the image, the business sees the asset. A rapper can preach independence while being controlled by a label. A singer can promote self-love while being molded by a marketing team. An athlete can represent discipline while privately drowning in pressure. An influencer can sell peace while living in chaos. A pastor can preach humility while building an empire around ego. A celebrity can sell luxury while renting the lifestyle for the campaign. And the only celebrities who remain highly sought after are usually the ones who successfully curate an image. Not necessarily the most talented, not the most honest, or the most stable, the most marketable, brand safe, clickable, believable fantasy. And it's even worse because now they're having brands built off chaos. So when you have a brand built off chaos, it's really nothing you can do to lose your brand besides die or go to jail. And in the meantime, you're going to have people because people project themselves on the world. If you're not able to be influenced, don't project that to say, oh, everybody can't be influenced. Look around. Influence is so strong. Like when I like it's even when I'm at the gym, it be machines that people ain't never used before. But once I'm using it, the same people who be there every day who just do the treadmill every day, now they using it. And that's a positive thing. But that's just to show you how easy it is. People do that. Even sometimes when you driving. If y'all ain't one of the people who look at your phone all day and actually look at the road, you will see that sometimes when you make maneuvers on the road, cars follow what you do. Or if you park in a certain place, like for me, when younger me used to always park far, far away when I used to shop at Walmart. Thank God I'm delivered from that. Ugh. But that store just it seemed like that's the store where people where felons shop. Them people always seem like they ready to pull out a Glock on somebody in that store. It be grown men with their kids walking in the store looking like somebody just left a dildo in their ass. Like it's so weird to me the energy at Walmart. It always feels like at any moment a shootout can happen. Because for me, I can like, anyways, and no matter how many famous people come out and admit they were poor, broke, underpaid, exploited, depressed, trapped in contracts, barely making ends meet, the light of fame is still so alluring that people don't care. Not to mention, people always want to be the exception. They still want to be seen, want the stage, want the blue check, want the followers, want the lifestyle, want strangers screaming their name. That is how powerful the illusion is. Fame becomes the lottery ticket for people who do not want to build slowly. It becomes the escape plan for people who feel invisible. It becomes the religion for people who never develop purpose. It becomes the plantation of ego. And social media made it worse because now everybody feels like they're one viral moment away from becoming somebody. I love looking at history because every decade had the big bad. Like right now, the big bad is AI, social media, and the government. And a lot of the decades, it was always complaints about the children coming up worse than the last community, quality of things going down, inflation, and all of this other stuff. But we see throughout generations, not much change. The generation that first noticed the children was doing bad didn't decide that, okay, all future generations, we're going to make sure children are more educated, more mannerable, more strong. We're going to teach boys and girls self-defense because y'all be leaving y'all children. Like I be seeing this little boy fishing by the levee by himself. Like crazy. Like and he looked like he about 60 pounds. If he fall in, ain't nobody gonna know. But y'all let y'all children out in the world like that, and these children don't even be having weapons or know how to fight. Y'all act like predators just disappeared yesterday. Anybody, if you put in your zip code right now and search the SOs in your area, you ain't gonna never let your child out. You might not never leave your house again. Y'all be playing all that unawareness stuff. I'll take the crazy card if I gotta be the person who stay on my square because for me, I don't give a fuck about people anymore as far as, oh, I need friends. Oh, I want this, I want that. I've had that, have that, been there, done that. None of that make me who I am. Once I was able to separate myself as a human being from all of this shit, that's what a shift in life change. And for me, it's like, damn, so many people stuck living in friend groups, living in family obligations, living in being accessible and being a person who always helpful to people, not realizing that is manipulation. Like that is manipulation. It's a lot of these unhealthy traits came from somewhere. And if you trace back where they came from and what was going on around that time, one song, one clip, one scandal, one dance, one beef, one podcast moment, one live stream, one humiliation, one dangerous stunt, one public breakdown. But the question is, if fame requires you to become a product, are you escaping slavery or just upgrading the plantation? And let us not skip over the illusion of luxury. A lot of people, a lot of the items people are flossing online are rented, borrowed, sponsored, gifted, leased, loaned, endorsed, or part of a marketing campaign. The car may be rented, the house may be Airbnb, the jewelry may be borrowed, the clothes may be styled by a brand, the private jet may be a photo set, the vacation may be sponsored, the watch may be fake, the bottle may be comped, the designer bag may be returned. Speaking of bottle being comped, for my party animals out there, if you don't know somebody that Not that like you gonna have to babysit them if they drink, but if you know somebody who is skilled with flavors to be able to tell a difference between brands, you might need, if you drink, you need one of them with you, because I'm gonna tell you now, and this has been going on from before I started clubbing, but I witnessed it in the 2010s, and the last time I seen it was in the 2020s. Baby, these clubs be watering them bottles down, especially if it's a club that have sections and bottles, and the bottle they reuse those bottles. So good luck with that. You do better go in to the liquor store. The designer bag may be returned after the picture. The person selling the fantasy may not even have paid for the fantasy, but the viewer does not know that. And what's even sad is that all of the ignorant idiots of today will hear that and say, "Oh, y'all just hating." Meanwhile, 20 years from now, when all of the debt then caught up to them, and depending on if they have kids or not, they be on their wits end. Oh, I wish somebody helped me. So regular people go broke trying to buy things the person they're copying did not even purchase. That is the insanity of image culture. You are financing someone else's costume. You are going into debt to copy a rented moment. You are working overtime to recreate a sponsored illusion. You're paying full price for a lifestyle that was loaned to the person who influenced you. And many of the people who do actually spend their own money on frivolous things eventually end up broke or are desperate for income to recoup the cost. That is why some celebrities, influencers, scammers, and clout chasers are always selling something. A course, detox tea, betting link, crypto coins, subscription page, a fake mentorship, a brand partnership, a meet and greet, because the lifestyle has to be fed. The image has a bill. The flex has maintenance. The persona has overhead. And if the money is not coming in faster than the image is going out, desperation starts showing. That is when people start endorsing anything, promoting anything, saying anything, doing anything, because now the lifestyle they use to impress people has become the same lifestyle that traps them. And the people watching still do not learn. They see somebody else drowning in the cost of an image and say, I want that. That is mental captivity. The person you envy may be renting the life you are destroying your finances to chase. That's the stage. That was a slide right there. I like that purple. That's a nice color. It look, is it generated? Anyways, that is the new whip. People used to be held back because they could not afford something. Wait, let me make sure it's the right section. Because if it's missing stuff, before I get too deep, in too deep, can't think about giving it up. Because I never knew love. It feels so freaking bad. I could have just said the real words since I've been saying it earlier. I still part of my brain is still, it's still programmed from when I did YouTube the first time and I actually cared. Got to remember, I'm not doing nothing with these people, so I can say what I want within reason. Otherwise, shit get taken down. Take it down. People used to be held back because they could not afford something. Now they're held back because everything can be financed. And of course, people don't want to hear this about themselves. It's easier when people talk about somebody else. Like if I had a focal point of all of this criticism, it would be easy for most people to hear this. But when things feel like it's directed to them, if they're not emotionally in tune with themselves, the first thing they're going to do is be upset and then, attack via the comment section that I don't read. Phones, furniture, clothes, trips, tires, concert tickets, shoes, beauty procedures, electronics, birthday parties, club sections, even groceries in some cases. Everything can be broken into payments. That sounds like freedom until you realize it allows people to buy things they were never financially ready to own. Buy now, cry later. Young people are being trained early to normalize debt as a lifestyle excess. Not to mention, if you giving them phone apps that simulate gambling type games and all of these different add-ons that have to be purchased, you're teaching them at an early age to spend in a reckless manner. That's the thing about all sentient animals, cats, dogs, humans. We build from repetition. People think because you change your mind about your ways that your ways are going to change. No, there are parts of your brain that are running at all times that function your body and you don't even realize it. And a part of that are the things you do in certain environments because it saves you thought process power. You know, it's kind of like turning the lights off in the kitchen if you about to turn the AC on or something. For people who got old electric wiring, that's kind of what your brain does with habits. So when you're ingraining these things in yourself, and not to mention, many people do the negative self-talk about how they never are going to achieve their goals, or I wish I could, I wish, rubber lamp and make a wish then. Like, not emergency debt, not investment debt, lifestyle debt, and bad credit makes it worse. Bad credit bros and baddies still want to be down. That be the ones in, be the most negative people in person and online. So they accept second chance financing and end up paying multiple times for the same product, same couch, car, phone, tires, different price because their financial breakdown, their financial behavior made them prey. And the business knows it. They do not need to work hard for sales anymore. People fetch the money and hand it over like a dog bringing a frisbee back to its owner. The leash is invisible, but the monthly payment is real. And everybody is jumping the people. Everybody got something you could borrow now. And they know that people not financially literate. So I am seeing 300% interest rates, which means that's three times in the change of what you owe. Depending on how long the loan is, that means like, man, they really getting y'all. Honestly, it's easier to be a scammer these days because all you got to do is fake kiss people ass and they eating out your hand. When you the person that's telling people, I want you to do better, or hey, you say you want this kind of life, that direction is the wrong way. Baby, you can't tell people nothing. You can't tell none of these some of the younger people actually are very well mannered, in real life. I see more of them than the actual older people that's well mannered, but per the internet, whatever. But you really can't tell people nothing, but then they want you to listen to their problems. It's like you are the problem. I have personally seen people work two jobs, sometimes three, and most of their income goes toward aesthetic images, not assets, not savings, not education, not a safety net. Images. They think friendship is dressing up, going somewhere expensive, taking social media ready photos, posting a quote about growth, and then going home to the same unresolved life. Not to mention, if you know people who do this, instead of them telling you how good the food was at the restaurant, they're going to tell you about, oh, so and so showed up late. Oh, she had an attitude. Oh, we split the bill and she act like she didn't want to split the bill. Oh, why she bought her boyfriend? Oh, why he bought his girlfriend? These events don't really be fun for y'all. Y'all be so forced into trying to get images to prove to the world that it's fun. Y'all don't be having real fun at these places, and these places be done got y'all for y'all money. Like, I had some of the best times in my life in Houston, Texas, and Big Fine Keon, aka Nightwalk Kitty Garage, where she would have food because she could cook. Allegedly all New Orleans people could cook, but Kitty could cook. And we would have food in the garage. Sometimes we might have liquor, sometimes we might not. Sometimes it might be in the daytime, sometimes it might be a pre-party before the club or after party. But when I tell you, I remember every single time, alcohol aside, that I was there and how much fun I had and the memories I had. And I could literally feel the moments when I look at the footage versus all of the thousands of times I went to clubs with people who want to wall hop or people who go in there to check on their ex and all of this other stuff. Like, it's literally a miserable life that people paying to access. You ain't getting to be messy for free. You're paying for mess. You're losing sleep for mess. You're wasting time that you could be bettering yourself because people forget that we are human trees. We need to be watered. We need to be, our old leaves need to be pulled off. Our branches need to be trimmed. Nobody's doing that. Like, all of these bodily functions we have, they have to be maintained. But people are filling themselves with vices, alcohol, drugs, barely any water. They don't eat vegetables. They don't even take multivitamins that would supplement these things. And now we're currently in a cancer epidemic in men 20, 30 years old. But men are so busy worried about what women bring to the table, they don't realize that their asshole is developing anyways. And in impoverished areas, this becomes even more dangerous. People are not just trying to look good, they're trying to one up other struggling people. One poverty participant gets access to a luxury item, luxury car, luxury trip, a luxury environment, and suddenly everyone else feels behind. That is not wealth. That is psychological warfare. Or like my people who I know that's been living in rundown areas for years. When you tell them about moving, oh, I don't have no money for no deposit. Oh, I don't have no money for no movers. But you have a whole closet full of design. You have like $50,000 in clothes when you don't even go nowhere. The designer label became proof. The car became proof. The club section became proof. The birthday party became proof. Vacation became proof. But proof to who? People who cannot save you, people who will screenshot your downfall, people who will watch you lose everything and say, I knew they were fronting. That is not freedom. That is captivity with better lighting. One example, this person during COVID time, I don't know if it was the stimulus money or if it was income tax or whatever it was, but the individual got a large sum of money, and for whatever, well, I know why, for whatever reason, had it in all cash in their purse. And you know what they decided to do? Have a house party with some of that extra cash. But what they thought they was doing, putting their purse in the room, thinking that it was, no, I'm lying. They didn't put it in the room. They had a china cabinet because all of this happened on Facebook. Like that's what, and that was years ago. I ain't been on the internet forever, but literally it was a whole crime scene investigation via Facebook because the person was re-uploading everything from the night trying to figure out who stole her money. Why you could see one of the guests go in her china cabinet and take her purse in the like, but because the phone was recording the whole thing, but nobody was watching it because they were actually, a part of it. But you could actually see it in the live that somebody stole this lady purse and they had tens of thousands of dollars in there. Now, granted, I don't know how it turned out, but I just had to put that out there. Like you be thinking you bringing people around you to shit on them when they ready to flush you. So y'all got to be careful with that. If you want to do all of this stuff for yourself and you truly enjoy it, you don't owe an explanation for that. But if being around people makes you want to do things like this, those people, like, I hate that y'all gonna waste y'all money like that. If people actually listen, do you realize how much money and pain and just all kinds of other stuff people could save? But no, people will look at a person, claim they admire you or feel like they admire your strength or whatever. And when you tell them, hey, based off of me living this life that you admire, I did this and it didn't turn out this way, and it still can turn out that way for you if you do it too, and they still do it. Clubs can charge hundreds or thousands for sections. They can charge hundreds for bottles that cost a fraction of that at a store. People will pay it not because the bottle changed, but because the environment changed the meaning of the bottle. That is marketing, status, ego manipulation. The same thing happens with cars. A lot of young people are no longer being taught to start off with a used car or a cash car to build driving skills. They're jumping straight into expensive vehicles, high notes, high insurance, and high risk. Some barely know how to drive. And unfortunately, parents don't be teaching you. I had to teach myself how to drive. How did I do it? I ain't saying that shit on the internet. Some are distracted behind the wheel. Some are not using hands-free features. Some are not properly insured. Some are not even listed on the insurance policy for the vehicle they're driving. So if a wreck happens, it becomes an uphill battle. So now we have people financing cars they cannot afford, driving distracted, underinsured, with no life insurance. Never no life insurance, baby. GoFundMe is life insurance. Y'all didn't know that? And no real emergency plan. That is not just immaturity. That is a society normalizing risk without responsibility. Distracted driving, no insurance, and adult consequences. Something that you just gonna see no matter when you're on the road. Homeboy ran a stop sign today and stopped in the middle of the street and then looked at me like I fell out the sky. That was funny. I'll be laughing now. Like some people blowing stuff, I laugh in the people's face. And that confuses them because they expect anger. No, but you're a joke. Because if this was 10 years ago, it would be smoke. But anyways, people know it is dangerous. They know people die behind it. They know phones can't wait. I don't think they know any of that. When I see people using their phones and not paying attention, they don't look like they're here. Like seriously, like I don't ever tell jokes, but people find me funny. But they really do not look like they're here, and they all do the same look up. Like the shit is like a sci-fi movie now. It is really crazy. The same people who are afraid of AI. Y'all are the reason the data centers are here. All of that phone usage y'all using, AI is powering half of that, if not 80, 90% of that. Don't make me pull out my degree on y'all, Mr. Bachelor of Science, Information Technology. But anyways, they know cars have hand features now, but most people don't know how to use the features. It's people who don't even know how to use their turn signals. And the thing is, the don't know, the don't know, the don't know, they don't want to know. And these same people will tell other people what they should have done. That's the crazy thing. Maybe if I ruled the world, half the population would be in jail, like forever. And still people are texting, recording, live streaming, scrolling, eating, arguing, and performing while driving. Like that lady who was telling the story about the lady who shot the lady in self-defense. And she crying and carry on, looking all in the camera the whole time this lady driving. Like, then if something happens, the whole tone changes. Now it's prayers. Now it's life short. Now it's check on your people. Hit ass. Check on your habits. Check on your responsibilities. Check on why you thought attention was worth more than safety. I think this might be my villain arc. And what makes it worse is that some of these people are driving cars they do not own, cars they are not insured on, cars they cannot afford with no life insurance, no emergency plan, no understanding of how a wreck can destroy multiple lives at once. A car is not just a flex, it is a responsibility. A vehicle can become a weapon when that person behind the wheels lacks discipline. And a lot of people had this misconception that if you have full coverage insurance and you wreck in your car, insurance is going to replace your car. If you don't have gap insurance or you have a car note, baby, good luck. Not to mention, y'all be risking these vehicles knowing that y'all don't even have large amounts of money coming in that frequently, to where if your car is gone, you're going to be without transportation for a while. Next thing you know, y'all going to be Ubering, or y'all going to be subbing like my broke cousins used to do when they can't borrow money or get a ride and be on the internet. Can't nobody ask me for nothing when I get on my feet. Even though people been and gave them so much stuff that their feet never touch the ground. So bitch, when were you on your feet? Protecting abusers because the vibe is good. Another sign of mental captivity is how people protect abusers when the abusers score high enough, sings good enough, raps good enough, preaches good enough, jokes good enough, or represents a side they like. And they love comparing abusers. If one person, if it's a news article about Bobby B being a bad Bobbyer, Bobbying down the street, they're gonna be like, well, Tim Bobby's too. This is not like, bruh, the Arrested Development. I think, anyways, I'll introduce that concept in another video. People will defend one abuser because they like the music, then aggressively. I think I might become a grifter. That's what I was gonna say. Not on this channel. Not on this channel. This is really me, but because at this point, it's just laughable. Not even on no real stuff, just to be like a troll grifter, just to show y'all how stupid people are. People will defend one abuser because they like the music, then aggressively attack fans of another abuser like they are morally superior. That is not morality. That is team sports. People are not asking, was harm done? They're asking, do I like the person accused? That is how predators survive. That is how corrupt leaders survive. That is how abusive celebrities survive. That is how toxic family members survive. That is how harmful pastors, bad politicians. If the person gives people enough entertainment, identity, validation, or hope, many will ignore the harm. Modern captivity does not just control what people buy, it controls who they excuse. And the funniest thing, too, for all of the people who, men and women, because it's men too, who won't date rich people. Hey, I want to buy you some rich. I want to be rich. Y'all whole ass gonna be mad when most of them is Republicans. Like majority of the rich people that would change y'all life that y'all chasing, since y'all cutting off people on the internet and blocking people because they retweeted Trump or they laughed at Trump. Them niggas and them bitches y'all want with money, they're Republican. So good luck. They don't like your ass. Religion. Religion can give people purpose, discipline, community, moral grounding, and hope. Politics can help people organize, vote, protect rights, and shape society. Identity can help people understand themselves. But all three can become cages when people stop thinking. Did maybe are the thoughts in the room with us? Because like legit, people are not taught to think. When you really look at how children are raised these days, When children are communicated to, spoken about, or things are done with them, you don't see talking. You just see giving, taking, punishment, praise. Like you don't see actual heart to heart knowledgeable things. People don't even be knowing who their parents were when they were a child. Most of these kids don't even think their parents were ever a child because they don't know. They're not human with their children. It was just cute when they was pregnant, or when the nigga found out he was gonna be a baby daddy. He was happy for 5 seconds, and then once the children get here, they act like like it's the neighbor's pet that you babysitting for a few days, and these children show it. These children are not raised. Like majority of these kids are not raised. So they doing whatever they see. And that's the problem we have. But that's the problem we've always had. Because when we were kids, it was the same thing. Some of us outgrew it, some of us was the exception. But like for me, most of the kids I grew up with in that area that I mentioned in the past, those kids, very few of them, most of them are dead. Like, and that's what most of the kids these days, they're gonna end up dead, especially the people who can't leave the club scene alone. Y'all don't even know when to leave. Like I saw something where somebody died at outside and they had been shooting for hours and the person just was standing there and they ended up dying. It's like, anyways, families are being broken apart over religious beliefs by people who are not even living model lives according to the religion they claim. Christianity is my experience because people only know is Jesus God and the Bible say. Y'all don't even read the Bible. The Bible speak about a lot of the stuff that psychology speak about. They all connect. Religion, psychology, science, it connects. So it's funny when people be fake religious, but they don't even have self-awareness, and that's in the Bible. Joke's on you. People fight over Democrat and Republican while long-term politicians on both sides build wealth, gain influence, and keep people arguing at ground level. No comment. People become pro one side and anti the other side and everything. Baby, y'all can have that. If you think you're a Democrat and you think you're a Republican and you think you whatever, and when you do stuff with them, you doing stuff for the country or you're not doing stuff for the country, baby. If you ain't seen the play, it's probably that's why they like people not being financially literate. If people was just interested in following money, you don't even have to be an accountant. I'll just leave that there. Race, religion, politics, gender, class, neighborhood, lifestyle, they're not thinking anymore. They are reacting from the group identity. And that is dangerous because once someone can tell you who to hate, they can usually tell you what to ignore. The cage does not always look like oppression. Sometimes it looks like belonging. Not to mention, people be calling themselves Christian, but you up here serving rappers and singers and all of these different people that y'all pastor during Sunday. Like one pastor said, if you went to Beyonce concert, you're demonic. So y'all serving two worlds. Christianity is a very selfish religion. You can't be a true Christian and be doing the stuff that y'all be doing. But when y'all see a person have a child out of wedlock or a same-sex relationship, suddenly y'all are the 10 commandments in human form, even though, like it's anyways, shit crazy. But people be down low too. I can't tell you how many down low men and women I know in my life. That's why it'd be funny when the down low subject come up and, oh, there ain't no men out there. Ain't no women out there either. Y'all hoes be eating cat on bridal showers and shit like that. Y'all ain't innocent. Men and women be gay. That's the whole thing. I don't even get why that's such a big thing, but I think it's because a lot of people are ashamed of their things they did in their past. Because everybody I know, and that's why online I project self-awareness. I know I'm projecting, so it's intentional. It's not accidental projection like most people do. I project when people be crying too much about gay stuff to know that they're on the down low. Because I've seen it too many times. I've seen girls and men fight they same gender over don't play with me. I ain't with that. And you found out they was on their knees like if it was Sunday service. So, like honestly, people who like that's kind of like the people who talk about cheating and then you find out they cheated on their wife, or they talk about being a present parent and you find out they got side babies that they don't acknowledge. Y'all gotta learn, wake up. These people is slow, they not smart. So the stuff that they constantly project is them shielding themselves from what they're hiding. Ain't nobody straight give a fuck about gay people. If you straight, you're gonna just randomly be at home by yourself and say, oh, I hate gay people. Like, nah, you better go get you some. end up like P. Diddy. Literacy is one of the biggest freedom tools on the earth. If you cannot read, you're easier to trick. If you cannot understand contracts, you're easier to exploit. If you cannot process information, you are easier to radicalize. If you cannot compare sources, you are easy to manipulate. Not to mention the comment section on educational content versus the content section on trending topics is night and day. You see actual coherent statements on thoughtful content, but when it's stuff with celebrities, politics, it feels like slaves from the past time travel into the present, because I don't know what language they be speaking, but it looks like English, but none of the words make sense. And it's like this person feels like they could get online and say stuff with their chest and you can't even spell. So many people can't spell. I wouldn't even have to, if I had to roast people, I would just go straight for the brain. You slow hoe would be my introduction. And I make a diss song. This is not just a school problem. That is a democracy problem, a workforce problem, parenting problem, financial problem, crime problem, spiritual problem. Because illiterate adults often raise children in homes where reading is not modeled, curiosity is not fed, patience is not practiced, and school is treated like daycare until something goes wrong. And as a kid, I used to witness a lot of ignorant parents when they had intelligent children. They would take their anger out and be physically abusive, always accusing that child of talking smart if they ask a question because they're so insecure about their statement. Somebody challenging it just makes them feel like treason. Then people blame the teachers. Teachers are not magicians. What would people do if they just shut the schools down? I mean, Louisiana could basically do that because the kids go there and eat lunch. That's it. They don't learn anything because a lot of them don't even care to learn. Is actually normalized to be disruptive in a lot of these schools, and there's no consequences. People always think about corporal punishment and putting your hands on children. You got to get to their mind. You can hit their body and they're going to keep doing it. Most people who whip their children, you have to keep whipping them. You beat and whip them so many times. Some people have whipped their children multiple times in a day because it's not effective. That is a stress relief for the parent. Them people don't be doing that and actually getting through to them. Half of them can't even hold a conversation themselves. They be emotional people. They be struggling in relationships. And that's another scary thing. To be a child and to have a parent having men and women in and out your life, like, nobody talks about that. It's always the kids, the kids, the kids. Y'all made these monsters. And half of y'all, men and women, should have kept y'all legs closed. It's like y'all are like feral animals, because I understand that we are hormonal, but that's a suggestion. That's not something that's supposed to take over your body and your legs are suddenly spread to the moon and you don't know how you keep sleeping with people and all of this other stuff. People are weird, very weird and angry. That's why y'all just being used as slaves. Like, them people see y'all complaining online about everything and they still making money. A child can spend all day in the classroom, but if they go home to chaos, no reading, no sleep schedule, no structure, no accountability, loud adults, digital addiction, and parents who bully them for content, the school is fighting war with the pencil. That's like if some teenagers I lived near at one point, if they were causing disruption in school, I wouldn't blame them. It's wrong that they doing it, but they was dirty. Their mama was dirty. Their house be dirty. They never put trash out at the right time. She be wearing anything outside, even though she's a whale, but she be wearing stuff that look like it's for her slim daughter. And you hear yelling from the house all of the time, loud music at random hours of the night. They keep getting pets that die from them leaving it outside, and they keep getting more pets. Like, it's a lot of slow people who had children. Like, a lot of y'all family members is slow. My family members is slow. See, I took that L for y'all. Y'all ain't got to admit it. I have a lot of slow family members. That is why family for me is different than family for the person who has a healthy family with sane people, with sane habits, not trying to be overly judgmental of everything everybody else doing because they are whores or harlots or gigolos or bums or living with their mama at 40. Like, you know, not to mention, people need to have each other. If you find yourself around people who ain't growing, let them have people that's just like them. When you look back in a few years, you're going to see they never moved. Either they never moved from where they at, or they decline, or they move from where they at, but they repeat the pattern somewhere else. That's the freedom. Like people really got y'all tricked thinking that you missing out on something by being around these people. These people are going nowhere fast. Half these people do shit that's gonna get them killed. And if you're around them, either you're gonna die or you're gonna be a part of some type of stuff. Like it's sad that many people had horrible beginnings, so it was easier to get into all of these different negative things like social media, like toxic friendships, toxic spending habits, because everybody's trying to soothe their pain, but people fail to realize the same way we wound on our skin and need stitches, and the same way we have headaches and need pain medicine and stuff like that, your emotions is the same way, but you don't heal it the same way. It's not a pill you could take to heal your emotions. You have to focus on what is the center of the pain. If parental treatment is the center of the pain, you have to focus on that. That's why therapy is a good thing. But until y'all do that, y'all are going to be like everybody else who with all these toxic habits, because under all them habits is unhealed trauma. Like it's guaranteed at this point. And the people who smile in y'all face and bombard y'all with ads, the whole ad thing is psychological, because you thinking that you skipping ads, but you not. Like they being planted in your brain, and that's why people have such bad spending habits. I wanted to go to Ollie's. Damn, it's 7 already. I must really like y'all. Anyways, a child makes a mistake, and instead of being corrected with maturity, they are filmed, humiliated, posted, and handed to the internet. And then people wonder why children are anxious, angry, distracted, and performative. A lot of adults do not have the emotional maturity to handle their own households, but they have technology to broadcast the dysfunction. That is dangerous because children can fully regulate emotions. Well, before children can fully regulate emotions, read fluently, or understand the world, they are already being trained by screens. And then people act surprised when the child cannot focus, act surprised when the child cannot be bored, when the child cannot handle correction, when the child performs for attention. But what raised them? The parent, the school, or the algorithm? When emotional emptiness becomes addiction, risk, and lawlessness. Another part of modern captivity is that many people have been at an emotional low for so long that they do not even recognize it is a low anymore. They think dysfunction is personality. They think addiction is fun. They think impulsiveness is confidence. Another pause I want to make too. A lot of them people who be struggling with buku adults in the house, that shit is weird, especially able-bodied adults. Because if everybody had just a part-time job, that house would have enough money, at least 200,000-300,000 coming in. But that wouldn't work because the money going to immediately be spent because people without financial literacy are programmed to be spenders. The brain immediately thinks money coming, what I could buy, what I could buy. It don't even be stuff you need. The brain don't even focus on needing things. I need to go to the dentist. I need to get a filling. I need to get this wisdom teeth. People will let their mouth rot, let their eyes turn all kinds of colors, red, yellow, blue, green, purple, and just be fresh as hell. It be dudes smelling like spam and Thanksgiving turkey up here thinking because they dress nice. And all it is for attention because it's a little boy in the inside or a little girl in the inside that never was seen. So now you got to overdo it with expensive things that you can't even afford, and you attracting the wrong attention. Some people trying to be luxury and messing around getting robbed. Imagine that person who thought they was shitty fresh and then somebody said, "Give me all you got." Like, because y'all really don't be having no self-awareness. Y'all be in anybody hood, not even realizing what it is. Like I mentioned, going to other countries that's level 3 and 4 security with luxury. Like if y'all get kidnapped, because a lot of people do get kidnapped in some of those countries because of that. They think risk is freedom, but a lot of it is pain looking for stimulation. When people are emotionally empty, bored, lonely, unhealed, overstimulated, and under discipline, they start chasing anything that makes them feel alive. Drugs, alcohol, sex, attention, rage, definitely rage. The hoes be angry. Public embarrassment, clout, drama, risk, shock value. And addiction is not only substances. Some people are addicted to attention, outrage, validation, public sexual risk, addicted to being seen, addicted to being reckless because calm feels boring to a nervous system raised in chaos. And now we're seeing risky adult behavior become normalized in public spaces. People meet up randomly or plan meetups for public X activity in parking lots, parks, wooded areas, apartment stairwells, hotel areas, public trails, and sometimes places where families, joggers, residents, and children may be nearby. That is not liberation. That is entitlement. Adults can make private choices with other consenting adults, but once that behavior moves into public spaces where unwilling people can be exposed to it, it becomes a violation. It is not hate when people are being arrested for breaking laws involving public adult conduct. The issue is not private adult romance. The issue is dragging the public into it without consent. And baby, the people who do that feel like people picking on them when they get in trouble for it, and that's their right, and everybody else do it, and all like people have been able to get away with stuff for so long that when they finally get caught, they don't feel like it was real. They feel like being caught was an inconvenience when the whole time they were getting away with breaking rules, especially rules like that. Someone gets arrested in a parking lot, stairwell, or public trail, and the comments act like society is being hateful. No, society is saying public spaces belong to everyone: children, elders, family, workers, tenants, joggers, people who did not sign up to be a part of someone else's thrill. That is another sign of captivity. People become so addicted to their own impulses that they start believing everyone else should adjust. Maybe adjust all right. Social media did not create every form of foolishness, but it gave foolishness a stage, a reward system, and an audience. Now people overshare themselves out of jobs. They post workplace drama, record customers, record coworkers. They live stream while on the clock. They break company policy, then act shocked when they're fired. That is how deep the programming is. And the wild part, other people watch that behavior, judge it, laugh at it, and then do the exact same thing. People know the behavior is risky, but the urge to be seen overrides common sense. A person can know the quote, post the quote, hashtag the quote, and still not live by the quote. Protect your peace, but they are in every argument. Move in silence, but they are live streaming through their entire downfall. Know your worth, but they sell their self dignity for engagement. God's timing, but they are forcing doors open with chaos, debt, jealousy, and manipulation. Everyone knows the inspiration language now. The problem is that many people are using wisdom as decoration. Word to Christmas wreaths, not direction. Look at Tony Hawkler, brother. When rule enforcement becomes a safety risk, we are also seeing a level of lawlessness where employees are attacked just for enforcing basic rules. I wrote this a week ago, and literally on some news thread, one of them neighborhood things, apparently some man out here attacked a pregnant woman. Like, man, anyways, a worker says you cannot come in here without paying. A worker says you cannot bring that in here. A worker says that's the store is closed. You have to follow policy. And suddenly they are cursed out, threatened, recorded, assaulted, or turned into a viral clip. That is not confidence. That is social decay. This matters because when rule following becomes dangerous, society starts bending around the most reckless people in the room. Responsible people get quiet. Workers stop enforcing standards. Managers avoid confrontation. Customers normalize chaos. And the degenerates learn if I act wild enough, people will back down. That is how public order collapsed, not all at once, one tolerated tantrum at a time. Not to mention New Orleans and Louisiana, the mental health is so bad out here that it is actually a dangerous thing when people online encourage any type of negative behaviors because people fail to realize, as much as they want to say people should have their own mind while being a carbon copy of someone else, they don't realize there are people out there who really just do whatever. They could be grown, they could be young, but they might be considered slow on paper or whatever it is, but they really will do whatever. So if they watch enough content or something, their brain will make them reenact that when they're in public. Live streaming, and that's another dangerous thing with y'all wanting to play on the internet with these dating apps and meeting people y'all don't know. Baby, they have real serial killers online, and a lot of them are not even known yet. Like, they still ain't caught the person who was doing it in Houston, where people kept coming up in the bayou, or in New Orleans. like I don't even remember how many years ago when it was a person, somebody kept shooting people on the interstate, and they ain't never found out who that was. So y'all be keying in people faces online, meeting different men and women, and thinking y'all can go to all these different countries and announce stuff. Baby, it's some sick people. Now the world itself, I feel like, as bad as it is in certain areas, it feel like it's bad everywhere, but I feel like the world is a good 50-50. Just like us as humans is a good 50-50. We just choose which one we want to put more attention to. You can choose to be a person that's for humanity and for your man, your man or woman, next, neighbor, whatever the shit people be saying. Or you could choose to be like the scammers do and be cutthroat all the way. You're gonna cutthroat everybody. You're gonna cutthroat your friends, you're gonna cutthroat your mama, you're gonna steal her dentures while she's sleeping, sell them on eBay. Like, so it's a choice. And I find too, before people complain about how the world is, what are you doing? What are you contributing? What type of friend are you? Go look through your text messages. You be dragging for people. You be saying stuff about people that you can't tell it to their face. You part of the problem too. Then, I mean, you still can have an issue with it, but just know you're fueling the fire, babe. Distracted driving is already dangerous, but live streaming while driving takes that recklessness to another level. Even when platforms try to limit risky behavior, users find other workarounds. That is addiction. When a platform says do not stream while driving, and the user says, how can I still stream while driving without getting caught? That is not freedom. That is compulsion. The person is not in control anymore. They are choosing content over life, content over safety, content over passengers, content over pedestrians, over their own future. And the craziest part is that people will watch it. They will comment, laugh, encourage the risk. Then when something tragic happens, everyone suddenly becomes a philosopher. Life is short. Prayers up. Check on your people. Answer the phone. I just called you yesterday. I wish heaven had a phone. Check on your attention span. Check on your habits. Check on the fact that we have created a culture where people are more afraid of being unseen than being unsafe. See, YouTube is all right with me because I ain't gonna lie, I had a chip on my shoulder, unrelated, and through the duration of this video, I feel like a new man. Like I woke up in a new Bugatti. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I noticed the songs that sound like music for slow kids is the songs that people love. Like they had a particular rapper that is pretty big, and I've never heard their music, but when I heard their music, it sounds like a kid with auto tune. Like it doesn't even sound like a grown man rapping, and it's like the dudes be so excited, but that's because they Arrested Development works in mysterious ways. The lawsuits, my favorite. For years, people said social media was harming mental health, especially for children and teens. Now lawsuits are forcing the conversation into courtrooms. There have been lawsuits and investigations involving major social media companies and allegations that their platforms harm young people's mental health through addictive features, weak protections, and harmful design choices. That does not mean every single allegation has been proven in every case, but it does mean the concern is no longer fringe. Parents see it, teachers see it, therapists see it, courts are seeing it, school districts are seeing it, and people still act like the problem is imaginary. Everyone is walking around like zombies, repeating catchy quotes and positive captions while their real lives are in shambles. Again, I would like to know what the mental health like is of a person like that, because even during my social media era, never have I ever been walking and using my phone in public. The most I would do is maybe have music on in the grocery store because I still hadn't gotten used to having such a mental fortitude in my brain that I could literally ignore anything. Like it could be an avalanche or lightning, and I could just be standing there like I don't hear anything because I know how to do that now. But when I used to need it for comfort, I would just have it in my ear, but I also would be able to still hear people. This is me trying to find a connection in myself first. If you notice, when I mentioned something that I didn't like in other people, I brought it back to myself to reflect myself. And I do that with everything. So I do have things, not that I mentioned in any of these videos, but where I may see a person do something, and my first thing is, do you do that? And a lot of the times it ain't really a do you do that? I already know. But I remind myself, like if I see a person like, oh, I can't believe he just slammed that door. And I think about, damn, man, sometimes you forget how strong you are. You be slamming the door. And I'm like, damn, so he could have did it like that too. So I do give people automatic grace, but some things ain't graceful. It's hateful. So I give them hate, even though I don't hate them, because that's energy that I don't have to give. Because my love is all I have to give. And without you, I don't think I could live. I wish I could get a world to you, but love is all I have to give. They know the language of healing, but not the discipline of healing. They know the language of growth, but not the sacrifice of growth. They know the language of accountability, but not the humility of accountability. That is why social media is so dangerous. It lets people cosplay maturity. It don't be maturity. It take an immature person to believe that shills knit. Not to mention random again, because I guess this should just be rants and randoms, even though it's a script. I literally, when I am speaking, I am always fighting not to for my exit to fully come out. That is why I overpronounce words, because if I do not, you will not understand me. Especially Siri, or like when you call places and you have to spell, like I had to spell my name out today, and I had to say A so many times because they thought I was saying E. And I was like, A, and finally got it. Because at first I was like, A. But that do sound like E, but that's how we say A. So it's like, yeah. When responsibility starts feeling lame, one of the saddest parts of all of this is that the responsible people can start dimming their light. My life. People with common sense, people with discipline, with standards, who want peace, who want stability, who want real growth. That was all me at one point. So I know how it feels at all layers, friends, family, co-workers. Like I felt it at all. I felt the resistance. So this is experience speaking. This is like for the YNs be calling people my age. Oh, yeah, this is a Owen. But they can start feeling like they're boring, lame, judgmental, or doing too much because dysfunction has become so loud. If everyone around you is reckless, responsibility starts feeling like isolation. If everyone around you is over, see, my thing is with reckless people, they don't really be about that. That's why I don't take people serious who do all that rah-rah stuff, because people really be pussy in real life. And I get that people don't need to be gun toting, pistol holding, nigga, on your damn street, jumping, thumping, nigga. Don't off in this damn thing. Blowing the bows up at these hoes. I'm screaming and bleeding from their nose. Anyways, but I didn't like how I was always the person, if we agree to do something, I'm going to do it. And this is younger years, crimes and stuff. Not crimes as far as like thefts and all of that other stuff. Like maybe more so fighting and all of that. And they would be the ones bucking everything up, but then they wouldn't want to be the first one. And it's like, this your beef. That's when I started realizing, man, people pussy. That's why when people started wanting to beef with stuff, I would be the peacemaker, because bitch, y'all ain't about to do nothing. If everybody around you is overspending, saving money starts feeling embarrassing. If everyone around you is partying, resting starts feeling weak. If everyone around you is oversharing, privacy starts feeling suspicious. For me, I didn't like the fact that people didn't want me where I was. I've always liked natural and intellectual different things. I was able to roll with the best of them with the clubbing and all of that other fun stuff. But when it came to my things, I noticed that clubhead people, they would legit just straight out tell you, oh, that shit lame, or that shit boring. And it's like, but yo, lame ass always need somebody to go to the club with your musty ass. Like, if everybody around you is angry, peace starts looking fake. If everyone around you is unserious, ambition starts looking arrogant. That is one of the traps. Degeneracy does not always pull people down by force. Sometimes it makes the higher road feel lonely. And when a person wants to fit in badly enough, they will trade their future to belonging. They will hang around people who do not think like them, date people who do not value them, ride with people who do not respect consequences, post things they know can hurt their reputation. They don't be thinking about that. You can tell when people are in the present moment so deep to where they don't even think the future exists. That is why it is a legit shock when consequences enter the chat, because people didn't think about that. They be thinking that it's like a post, because a lot of people post so much to where if you ask them about something they posted 3 weeks ago, unless it was a significant moment, they're not going to know what you're talking about. Or if something they tweeted a few weeks ago, they're not going to know that. So when one of those things that is a set it and forget it, post and throw away, comes back, the shock is first confusion, because most of the time they always got to ask, what was it? But depending on what it was, if it was one particular video and they knew it went viral, then they know then. But it's like going viral feels so good to people, it's a drug to them. Meanwhile, when I was on social media, I was accidentally going viral. And this shit used to make me feel weird because the influx of random strangers coming to my page was just like, this is not normal, because I had my regular people, my little ecosystem. I wasn't used to all of that, especially with some of the people coming trying to be funny, and they had the right one, because I ain't met my match yet. I'm a wordsmith, and I don't even try to be that, but it's just like, don't play with me. I don't play with people. If you see me in comments, you see me supporting whatever the channel say. Like, I'm not about to think of everything that they did wrong in the video and tell them, hey, you should have did this, you should have did that. Either I'm going to comment something about the subject, tell them good job, compliment they editing, and keep it moving. But that's because for me, I don't have hate and misery in my heart. And people I know who live like that, they're all miserable. The most miserable people I know talk about everybody. And it's crazy. The Julio Fulio trial and the power of influence. A real life example of this kind of social influence can be seen in the Julio Fulio case. The case involved defendants accused of rapper Julio Fulio, whose real name was Charles Jones. Rest in peace to him. The public discussion around the case showed how online conflict, rap beef, social media attention, and real world violence can feed each other. That is what people do not want to admit. Social media does not just document street value, it can intensify it, reward it, spread it, turn beef into entertainment, turn violence into branding, turn young people into characters in a deadly storyline. And sometimes the people pulled into that world are not even from the exact same background as everyone else involved. Sidebar, as another reminder of social media safety, some of those people, because over the years I'm an ON, so I've seen a lot of people get killed on social media. Some of the people were stalked, and it wasn't always by people in the comment section. Sometimes it was the people in their views with no picture and a random name. So be very mindful of what y'all post on the internet. Y'all don't have an army behind y'all. You can't protect yourself from every predator online, and it's a lot of them. Word to the dark web. That is, the dark web is not the only place they at. That's why they have whatever they look at that they can't look at on regular internet, but they are all over. And all of these different little subtle details that people think is nothing. A person who is a stalker can use anything. Like, and it's so weird because even people who you would think know better, even talking to them, like I met a therapist that actually was struggling with something, and it's like, why are you telling me this? Like, you're not my therapist, but why? Like, this is you have all of the tools, ma'am. What are you talking about? That's like a mechanic with a flat tire. Like, what are you talking about? A barber with his lining messed up. A hairstylist with no hair, like not bald, but like no hair, like no style or nothing, just messed up. And sometimes the people pulled into that world are not even from the exact same background as everyone else involved. Some may have had more family structure, more opportunity, more access, or more exposure to life outside the streets. But without active parenting, real supervision, strong values, and enough internal identity, a child can connect with almost anyone online. That is the danger. A kid can have a passport stamped and still be spiritually lost. Come from a decent home, still be influenced by chaos. Can have access and still choose destruction. Can have parents with resources and still be raised by the internet. That is why passive parenting is not enough anymore. You cannot just say my child has a good home. Who has their ear? Who has their algorithm? Who are they DMing? Who are they idolizing? Whose music is shaping their worldview? Whose live streams are normalizing violence? Not to mention, a lot of them controversial live streamers are watched by mainly teenagers and children. Whose trauma are they copying? Because today influence does not need to live on your block. It just needs Wi-Fi. Not to mention, y'all be dealing with people who have untreated mental illness too. So thinking that everything normal that you would do to get better, or something that people could say to you for you to want to do better? Baby, some people have mental delays, mental illnesses. And one thing about being from Louisiana, baby, majority of these people, ain't nothing wrong with my child. Whole time the mama got the same thing too. The daddy got the same thing too. Two bipolar people have a bipolar child and wonder why the child have behavior issues. Like, it's a lot of delusion going on. And I understand some people have had negative experiences with the pharmaceutical industry. So apprehension for prescriptions is completely understandable, but mental illness destroys lives. Like, somebody I know is dead because they had a very violent mental illness. The family never took it seriously. Oh, he just throw it off. He just throw it off. And I'm like, I'm no doctor, but it's giving schizophrenia. Like, y'all, he didn't tell y'all about the voices. And 5 years after that, he ended up getting into a violent physical altercation with somebody. I don't even know what the story was, but that person, bing, bang, 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 bang. And the family, oh, but y'all didn't, like, people so phony. Anyways, now let us talk about neighborhoods. People often complain about gentrification like it is always some mysterious outside force that happens overnight. No, there's two parts to gentrification. One part is the part where everything get removed and replaced, but the first part is the destruction of the neighborhood that's being gentrified. I wonder how that happens. Sometimes it is predatory. Sometimes longtime residents are priced out of their places families help build. That part is real, but good got to suffer for the bad. There's another side that people do not like to discuss. Some neighborhoods lose value because people inside the neighborhood help destroy the environment. Trash everywhere, violence, noise, open air criminal activity, abandoned properties, irresponsible tenants, rude guests, people living off other people, no ownership mindset, no community maintenance, no protection of elders, no investments in the block. And when the wealth leaves, opportunity leaves too. Stores close, family moves, insurance get higher, businesses avoid the area, schools struggle, crime rises. And eventually someone with money comes in, buys what people neglected, improves it, raises prices. And now everyone says they stole a neighborhood. But did they steal it, or did the neighborhood lose its protection before they arrived? In places like New Orleans, this conversation is especially complicated. People complain about gentrification, but some of the same people never organized to help Big Mama catch up on taxes, never pooled money to fix property, never mentored the youth, never protected the elderly, never cleaned the block, never cleaned their trunk either, never built businesses, and never used street money to strengthen the community. Crime can bring quick money, but crime does not build community wealth. Blood money usually leaves the neighborhood as fast as it enters. It goes to designer stores, car lots, clubs, bail money, funerals, lawyers. And meanwhile, the block stays broken. Yet y'all still idolize them rich people from the hood who never, all they do is come back and shine in y'all face and give y'all $10 and tell you go get a honey bun and a Snicker. That is a hamster wheel with casualties. And it's bigger than race. It's bigger than race, but that's what they got y'all locked in on. So beautiful. Race matters in history, in policy, housing, policing, wealth gaps, lived experience, but not everything is only race. Sometimes it is culture, class, literacy, trauma, bad leadership, poor decision making, addiction, family dysfunction, lack of discipline, predatory capitalism, spiritual emptiness. Some of it is all of it together. The problem with making everything only one thing is that it gives people permission to ignore the parts they can control. If every problem is only outside of you, then you never have to grow. If every failure is someone else's fault, then you never have to reflect. If every criticism is hate, then you never have to mature. And if every consequence is oppression, then accountability becomes impossible. They told me to put my cell phone up. They always picking on me. Because the person who cannot self-correct will always need someone else to blame. Maybe I don't like blamers. What is the escape? The escape is not just deleting apps. I mean, I would be insane if I expected people to do that because y'all too deep in the game. You just would have to make gradual changes. And you can also use the app to your benefit. Make the app your bitch. Y'all are letting these apps and these programs and these channels and all of the names of whatever the shit you look at regularly. Y'all letting them shits pimp y'all out. Do y'all realize y'all are free hoes for people? And this is only to the people it applies to. So remember, y'all is not all y'all. Y'all is y'all that fit the narrative of the video. And it's just hello, because I'm talking like how y'all be talking in the comments, not on my page. I don't know, I don't read my comments, but the comments I seen on the internet, I'm talking like how they be talking, because that's probably the people that's gonna end up catching this shit over years later from now. But when it comes to these people, they're using y'all. It's so crazy how people don't know when they're being used, but knowing everybody else being used. It's and y'all gonna feel, for the people that's been doing it for so long, y'all gonna feel so down and low when life really, really hits you, or if that outage come that's supposed to come, and you ain't gonna have no choice but to detox while losing your mind and probably getting into it with whoever you stuck with. But anyways, so what is the escape? The escape is not just deleting apps. The escape is becoming harder to manipulate. Read more, think deeper, learn money, build credit, and that's the thing. Why people want lots of money with no financial literacy, or even somebody could have really got me and been like, you know what? I know I ain't financially literate. I'm gonna have an accountant and a life coach and all kind of other stuff to supplement that. That's better than nothing. People really think money is supposed to be gotten to millions, and then you just gonna spend like a millionaire. You're not gonna be a millionaire for long. Like, that's the whole point, is not to buy stupid shit, because it's gonna make you broke, and it's gonna make you have to pay for more. Because if you buy a house because you're rich, your bills are now going to be permanently a rich person's bills. But if that's one-time money, where are you gonna get the future payments from? So, and who is that going to benefit? Because all of these people that get rich and try to do all of this stuff, the story ends the same. Somebody uses them for their money. A family member turns on them. Somebody steals from them. A longtime friend betray them. Like, y'all not tired? Stop financing insecurity. Stop buying things to impress people who cannot help you. Stop trying to copy people who may not have even paid for what they are showing you. Loneliness does this. Stop calling every impulse self-care, fitting in. Stop confusing luxury with progress. Painting over wounds. Stop confusing visibility with value. Stop confusing fame with ownership. Giving celebrities more loyalty than your own future. Stop letting politicians, pastors, influencers, scammers, artists, and algorithms think for you. Stop laughing at dysfunction and then crying when it reaches your door. Treating your children like props, treating school like daycare, treating the neighborhood like a trash can, and then getting emotional when investors see opportunity in what you neglected. Freedom requires literacy, emotional regulation, financial discipline, spiritual maturity, accountability, purpose. And purpose is important because without purpose, people become easy to program. And if you don't know where you're going, any algorithm can drive. If you don't know who you are, any trend can dress you. You don't know what you value, any influencer can sell you a personality. You don't know what pain you're carrying, any scammer can offer you fake healing. You don't know how money works, any lender can turn your desire into bondage. Don't know how fame works, any celebrity image can make you feel like your regular life is failure, which is crazy because, it's a life. How marketing works, you will spend money chasing rented illusions. I see why people like to go overseas and help them people. Because it do sound bad because, people in this country need help. But anytime I've met any less fortunate people overseas, I don't know how they are every day, but bitch, they was nice in that moment. A lot of these less fortunate people in America, baby, they be acting like they better than you. They looking at your shoes like, oh, he don't have on no Jordans, not realizing Brook Brothers shoes cost $300 if we playing costs, but it's really about comfort, ho. Why you wearing the musty ass Jordan shoes? That man wouldn't even spit on you if you was in flames in his living room. He would let you burn. Word to Shabuzi and Usher version. Modern day slavery is not always a person standing over you with a whip. Sometimes it is a phone in your hand, a payment plan, club section, designer label, political identity, religious performance, celebrity worship, rage bait, family trauma, neighborhood dysfunction, ignorance passed down like inheritance, addiction, risky behavior, public lawlessness, is the need to be seen, borrowed luxury, rented status, sponsored illusion. Sometimes it is trying to become famous without realizing fame can turn you into the product. And the cage is so familiar that people decorate it and call it home. But awareness is the first key. Once you see the trap, you stop calling it freedom. Once you see the pattern is one of the most powerful. Pattern recognition is one of the most powerful skills because it's not just something you use from you to me or from you to yourself. You can see patterns in history and business, and some people see patterns in lottery numbers. That's how they be winning. Since everybody's so money hungry. Because the goal is not to look free, the goal is to become free mentally, financially, spiritually, emotionally, socially, generationally. Now, granted, if you still want to have your cake and eat it too, you can do that, but you're just gonna have to learn how to shut up. If you really gonna make your change in life, but you still want to keep your friends, they don't need to know what you have going on at all. Like, you be available when you in the mood. Like younger me during my ending of being a party animal, I knew who to call when it was time to go out. Cause them same people, men and women, they go to the club every week. I know they're gonna be there. So, which I didn't need people to go to the club with me. I actually used to go to a lot of places by myself. A lot. And that's how I actually used to meet people, not trying to, but the person by himself, and he dancing. I was a marvel to people because most people need an entourage just to go anywhere. I have family members that don't even go to family events because they need people to come with them because ugh, mentally, financially, spiritually, emotionally, socially, generationally. Because if y'all don't wake up, the next generation will not just inherit our poverty. Maybe we don't have enough time to worry about the next generation. Will New Orleans be here for the next generation? It's funny how they just now finding out that New Orleans sink every year. Now they making that breaking news. Anyways, they will inherit our distraction, our debt, rage, ignorance, broken attention spans, excuses, addictions, appetite for chaos, worship of fame, rented fantasies. I'm looking at the time. So no modern day slave is not coming. Are you free enough to notice? First of all, thank you to yesterday. My TV decided to be messy and show me one of my videos on my timeline. Like if I watch my own videos, and they said 4 views. So that means I'm doing this for you, 4 viewers. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. And if I ever get over this stigma with the wild people of social media, maybe one day we might have community chats in the community center or something. We gonna do something. Well, are we? I don't know. Like, y'all have a good day. Happy first of the month.